Bonjour, Bernard. Thank you very much for being available for this video blog as usual, in which we try to collect the views and the impressions of people attending the conference. So what are our views of this year's edition of EuCNC and the 6G Summit? Still virtual, unfortunately.
Yes, thanks a lot, Luis. And for me, I think it's quite a very nice event this year, in spite of the fact that, again, as last year, we had to go for a virtual event under these very specific circumstances imposed by the COVID situation. I think that we have had quite a number of things to let's say, to acknowledge this year. First of all, the fact that this is the 30th edition of this conference is something really special. But beyond the sheer, let's say, number, what I think it shows is that this conference has been able to reinvent itself over years and over time, in such a way that it takes on board new topics, new constituencies, new stakeholders, and it has remained a very relevant event in my view. And we see it again this year. We have managed to innovate in terms of stakeholder by bringing the microelectronics and components people, which were not part of the classical players in the past. And I think this is a good and a sound, let's say, impression that we are really trying to stick to the most relevant set of actors in this domain. The second element, which I found really fantastic, is that we managed to reach this historical level of more than 2,000 registration, even though it's for a virtual event. I think it's quite something which has to be acknowledged. And the third thing, which is very important in my view in this conference, is that it really looks like the actual kick-off event of 6G activities in Europe. And we see that in addition to what the Finnish colleagues are doing under the 6G flagship, and for which we are very grateful that they have accepted to make this conference with us, it is really interesting to see now that there is a very strong momentum which seems to start behind this notion of future type of systems and what would be the let's say the type of use cases, the type of technologies that will be required. And I have seen very lively discussions about all these elements, and I think it's quite interesting, and we hope that this will amplify in the next few years.
Yes, let's hope so. So let's meet, shaking hands, touching each other next year in Grenoble, right?
Yeah, in Grenoble, it will be hopefully a physical event. We can meet physically and drink real glasses. Again, Grenoble will be again a way to materialize our growing interest to microelectronics and the component sector. And for the future, I think it will be important to materialize even further this notion that we from the European Commission, we would like to push in the context of 6G, which is this notion of value chain. That means that we can really stimulate 6G activities in Europe that go down from the component up to the service provision level in the cloud, which goes a little bit beyond the classical connectivity aspects that we have been dealing with so far, which is, of course, a challenge because we are talking about domains where Europe is not necessarily the best place in the world. When we talk about specific components, especially processors, or when we talk about cloud edge service delivery, it's not necessarily the places where we are best. But at the same time, we find it is a fantastic opportunity, and it's a way or an opportunity to leverage our assets in telecoms and in a number of other fields, such as some fields of components or something of services, to try to really bring Europe into this domain with strengths and with higher strengths than what we have today, in the context of this notion that the Commission is very much promoting, which is sovereignty or open strategic autonomy, as we call it, trying to have as much as possible European players in the overall value chain.
Okay, Bernard, thank you very much. So the latest, let's see each other next year in Grenoble. Thank you very much.
Super.
Have a nice day, and also the rest of the conference as well. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Merci beaucoup. Ciao.